Today, we're going to be discussing the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, and how it applies to pharmaceutical sales and marketing. As you may know, the GDPR is a set of regulations that were introduced in 2018 to protect the personal data of individuals in the European Union. It gives individuals more control over their personal data and how it is used, and it also imposes strict rules on organizations that handle personal data. So, what does this mean for pharmaceutical companies that engage in sales and marketing? Well, first and foremost, it means that these companies must be transparent about how they collect, use, and share personal data. This includes obtaining explicit consent from individuals before collecting their data, and making sure that individuals are aware of their rights under the GDPR, such as the right to access, rectify, erase, or restrict the processing of their data. In addition, pharmaceutical companies must ensure that they have appropriate safeguards in place to protect personal data, such as encrypting data and implementing secure IT systems. They must also be prepared to respond to requests from individuals to exercise their rights under the GDPR. It's important to note that the GDPR applies not only to pharmaceutical companies based in the EU, but also to companies based outside the EU that offer goods or services to individuals in the EU, or that collect and process personal data of individuals in the EU. Here are a few things that companies need to consider when sending marketing emails under the GDPR. Consent. Companies must obtain explicit consent from individuals before sending them marketing emails. This means that individuals must actively opt in to receive marketing emails, rather than being automatically enrolled based on their use of a company's services. Transparency. Companies must be transparent about how they collect, use, and share personal data. This includes providing clear and concise information about their data practices and their privacy policies and marketing emails. Unsubscribing. Companies must make it easy for individuals to unsubscribe from marketing emails. This means providing a clear and prominent unsubscribe option in each marketing email, and honoring unsubscribe requests in a timely manner. Data protection. Companies must ensure that they have appropriate safeguards in place to protect personal data, such as encrypting data and implementing secure IT systems. They must also be prepared to respond to requests from individuals to exercise their rights under the GDPR. It's important for companies to ensure that they have a clear and concise process in place for obtaining consent, and that they are able to demonstrate that they have obtained explicit consent from individuals in the event of a GDPR audit. Opt-ins in Europe explain the high open rates for email campaigns compared to the US. This is because the HCP has already opted into the email, which means they are intending to read the emails. Those who do not intend to open emails would have opted out. In the US, emails can be sent without the HCP consenting. This produces lower open rates. The GDPR does not specify a specific frequency at which consent must be renewed. However, it does require that consent be freely given, specific, informed, and unambiguous. This means that companies must ensure that individuals understand exactly what they are consenting to, and that they are not under any duress when giving their consent. In practice, this means that companies should consider the following when determining how often consent needs to be renewed. The nature of the data being collected. For sensitive data, such as health information, companies may need to seek renewed consent more frequently than for less sensitive data. The purpose of the data collection. If the purpose of the data collection is ongoing, such as for the purpose of providing a service, consent may need to be renewed less frequently than if the purpose is one-time, such as for the purpose of conducting a survey. The length of time that has passed since the initial consent was given. If a significant amount of time has passed since the initial consent was given, companies may need to seek renewed consent in order to ensure that individuals are still comfortable with their data being used in the same way. Ultimately, the frequency at which consent needs to be renewed will depend on the specific circumstances of each case. Companies should consider these factors and ensure that they are obtaining valid and current consent for the collection, use, and sharing of personal data.